Okay, so my name is Orellana, and my topic is causes that are worth dying for, and I'm gonna be more specifically focused on like suicide. Okay, so in today's society, millions of people around the world seek suicide as a way to end their problems. So the statistics show that 117 suicides happen a day around the world. The suicide rate is 12.93 for every 100,000 individual, and it's the 10th leading cause of death worldwide, but it's the second leading cause of death between 15 and 24-year-olds. So the graph here, it's from 2000 to 2010, and as you can see, getting closer to where we are now, so 2010, it's more likely for people to die because of a suicide instead of a car accident. So you can tell that as we're getting as time goes by, people are seeking more towards suicide because they feel like that's the only way to solve their problems instead of asking for help or seeking for help. So, yeah. So what can be the causes in which why an individual can seek suicide? So these are some causes that I've researched and I found out. So there's drug abuse, alcoholism, bipolar disorder, depression, bullying, stress, and even breakups. And I know that you guys can think like, okay, why would it be a breakup? Like, why would someone commit suicide over a breakup? But there was an article that I used as a source where it was called "It's Over," where people actually studied and showed that some people do get really connected and affected when they're in a relationship and that relationship is over, because you know how they say like, oh, I can't imagine myself without you. And so they say that some people really do get affected mentally because they feel like, oh, well, if that person couldn't love me, then like what's the point of loving myself and like, you know, being on this earth? Yeah. So even though it seems like it's like some of us can think like, why would someone do that? It is proven that someone can commit suicide for that. So I chose one of my sources. I specifically chose this one because I feel like this relates more to us. Because one of the causes can be stress. And I know specifically this year we were all like, oh my gosh, stressed about senior year. So this article was by Julie Halpert and Ted Rosen. So they gave three like real life scenarios where these two girls, you know, they were always happy. They were like play sports together, and then one of their teammates on their soccer team committed suicide, and it really impacted those two girls. And so their mom shared this quote, and she said, "As for Katie, her parents stood up 6 months ago before she died. It was tough on her. The former honor student acted out by skipping classes and shoplifting. In June 2014, she was arrested for swiping a sweater. It embarrassed her. I think it was a cry for help." So it's just a matter of how much things pile up on top of students, or you know, us in general, because we're so young and we get really affected by things because we don't know how to cope. So like her, you know, her parents split up. Her friend, like that she would always play sports with, like she committed suicide. So I guess like you could tell that, you know, the signs were there, but they were never capable of seeing that it affected her so much. So the way that she thought that she could find a solution to her problems was committing suicide. And so then also her other teammate also committed suicide for that, because she felt like, oh well, you know, maybe she was going through what I did, so maybe my solution is also to commit suicide. And then the other scenario was this guy that he used to play football. Everybody thought like, you know, he was like the cool guy at the school. And then one day they said that, you know, he stopped showing up to school. And then eventually when they didn't see him anymore, it was because he committed suicide. So it's like, it kind of relates to what Armida was saying before. Even the happiest people can be going through like the most. So it shows that the signs are there, so you just kind of have to look into it. And then I feel like not just teens, They think that it's a solution, but in reality, they don't think about what happens after, because they can think, oh well, no one's gonna get affected by it, but they don't realize that they leave a really great pain in everybody else's lives. So like one of the moms of the teen said, I had to be hospitalized. It makes you feel like your soul is gone. So even though they thought that it was a solution, and in the end no one's gonna get hurt but themselves, they're wrong, because they leave their parents thinking like, oh, what could I have done to save her? Like she was too young, or he was too young. Like, there could have been a solution. So then it brings me to my mentor, and the last name sounds familiar. Her name is Kimmy Dester, so it's Miss Dester's sister. So she shared her personal experience with me, which helped me find out like the patterns in suicide and stuff like that, because she shared out that she personally has gone through in her family there was two unfortunate deaths between one of her family members and a close family member, where they thought that the only solution to their problems was suicide, because she said that one of them was when she was really young, so she didn't know the whole idea of what suicide was until she grew older and the other unfortunate suicide happened. She learned that after unfortunately after they were both gone, the family finally realized that the signs were always there, but they never thought of it as, they probably thought of it as, well, they'll get over it. But unfortunately, they didn't. And she said that for one of the cases, he tried to commit suicide one time, and so they realized and they helped him and stuff like that. But then once, unfortunately, he changed his life, where, he got to have a baby and stuff like that. But then, time passed by, and I guess he never really felt like that was enough, so he ended up committing suicide. So to her, it was like, well, we could have continued helping him, just because it looked like he was okay doesn't necessarily mean that he really is okay. So she just she said that she also wanted to share her stories as a way for us to notice that, for us to realize that the signs are there. Like if you do realize that someone is sad or stuff like that, to make sure that you guys look at the signs and try to help them out before the unfortunate event happens. And then she definitely said that it is something that should be really reduced, because it is sad that so many lives are ended just because they think that that's the only way to find a solution to any of their problems. So it comes down to what can we do to make sure that people don't seek suicide as an answer. So there's counseling, where you can go and seek help from someone else. And obviously I know that some people say, well, you never know what the person is going through, only they know how much how much strength or how much they what they really gone through and how they really feel. But there is it isn't necessarily that you have to be in their shoes, and you can, but as long as you are there to support them and make sure that they know that there's more opportunities ahead of them. There's also therapy, and there's different suicide hotlines, where if you ever feel like you're sad, not necessarily super but if you're ever feeling like you want to commit suicide, or suicide is your only answer, there are people you can call, and you can tell them I need help. Or there is websites, there's or even in general, I know that us, when we're sad, sometimes there's that specific person you go to because you feel like they understand you. So I feel like we all it's more of a support system, where we all have to stay connected to ensure that we all stay close and loved, because I feel like it's important, and it's sad when people unfortunately die just because they think that that's the end of it, but it's not. So help before it's too late. And that's it.